Welcome to the Talk It Out Show. I'm your host, Joanne. We would like to let you know that this show is for entertainment purposes only. If you want to look us up on Facebook or Twitter, look us up at the Talk It Out Show. And if you want to email us any of your questions, email us at talkitoutshow@gmail.com. I want to thank you for tuning in to us. Could you please subscribe to us, click the like button, and also click the bell for notifications whenever we pop up. Also, if you have any questions that you want to send us, physically send it to our P.O. Box. Send it to P.O. Box 901043, Portland, Oregon 97290. All right, well, as you know, I have my panel of lovely ladies. I'm going to introduce them to you. We have Lydia.
Hello, everyone.
And of course, we have our lovely Lauren.
Hi, everyone.
All right, of course, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to us today. We also, this month, we were talking about some businesses that we want to support, and we live in Portland, Oregon, so we want to talk about some Black-owned businesses that people can help and support. We have showcasing right now Cason's Meats. He's a butcher, and he has awesome meats there, nice and fresh. A lot of the food carts and people who are in local food carts, that they patronize him. Hopefully, our city's going to be opening up on Friday, so hopefully when that opens up, he has two sections of his shop where they have the meats for you to go ahead and purchase, and also they have prepared foods that you can come get, like dinner or lunch, and I mean, they have the awesome foods like greens and cabbage and ribs and fried chicken, and then make fried fish to order. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So they're located on the corner of Alberta and MLK in town, and right in the heart of the city. So it's amazing. He's been a pillar in the community for a long time. A lot of people know him. And he's one of the people that I knew. I didn't even realize. Been around for a long time, and I guess he had. Since he's been at this location, but he had a location a long time ago, even before this, and people were talking about that. So he's been selling meat forever. I had no idea, so it's amazing. And I want you guys to reach out and patronize him, and patronize some other businesses we're going to be talking about later on in the week. And because we want to be able to support those people. But we want to help one of our listeners out there. This one says, I have been married for 25 years, and sadly it has come to an end. We have 5 children, ages spanning from 21 to 16. We have not officially told the children. Even though they are older, I still want to approach this correctly. With so much already going on, yet another part of their lives, as they know, it will be changing. We will all need to relocate soon, and we have yet to tell them that it won't be all of us together. Parents that have divorced or separated, how do you have this conversation with your children without anyone feeling like they are in the middle or have to choose a side?
I'll leave that one to Lauren. Well,
I don't.
I always say it's just straightforward, the truth. And, you've seen it on television, you've seen it on talk shows, you've seen it everywhere where the parents sit down and tell the kids, we love you, it's nothing you did, and blah, blah, blah. And we're mommy and daddy's not getting along, and blah, blah, blah. And so we're going to go our separate ways, and we still love you the same, blah, blah, blah. And really, that's all there's nothing else that you can say. You just say that we're getting divorced, we're not getting along. You're right, and that's the truth. And it has nothing to do with the kids. That's right, that's the truth. And just be straightforward. There's no, you can't butterfly that up. I mean, there's nothing you can, make it sound good and make it. It's terrible. It's ugly. It's a death of something. It's a death of a marriage. You guys are going to be grieving. The kids are going to be grieving. It's just a terrible thing. And even though there's, the kids are like on their own and whatnot, I think it's a little bit better for them because they're going to be on their own. So they can pick up and go over to dad's house. They can pick up and go over to mom's house. But it's hard because they would love to see their parents together. And so no matter how you slice it, dice it, it is what it is. And that's all you can say. It is what it is. There's
Did you say you thought all the kids were adults, or did you?
They're almost adults, 16 on up to 21.
Oh, yeah.
They're almost, so you got 2 more years. Yeah, they're teenagers.
Some are, like, they're in the 25 to 16.
16, so they're pretty. So I mean, it's something that. Oh, she's counting, and you carried the 3.
No, it's 5 kids. I was just trying to think of the age range.
Yeah. So no, there's nothing you can do about that. It's just telling the truth.
And pretty much, I'm just gonna say, from being a kid and now an adult, they know.
No,
They know that you already had issues. They already know. Wasn't I mean, for you guys to have issues to get to the separation, you wasn't keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
They knew something wasn't right, and they probably waiting for you. And it's so funny. It's talking to a lot of kids where the parents are in the middle of they're staying together for the kids, and the kids is like, I wish my parents would just get a divorce. Oh, this is miserable.
Yeah.
And then when Daddy left that one time, it was so peaceful, and then he got mad when he came back.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The kids are ready. They wait. They're like, would you hurry up and get a divorce? So, and I'm not saying that's all kids, but majority of the kids that I've talked to, they was like, would you hurry up and just get a divorce? Like, they just wanted to yell at the parents, like, get a divorce. Do not stay because of us, because we're tired. You know, so think about it that way, too, that you might actually be taking the stress off of them of trying to fake and be smiling like, Daddy and Mommy's okay. And then they're behind the back, when are you going to get a divorce? I don't know, what's the back? I bet it's going to be this, you know, no, Mommy's going to take it back, no, Daddy's going to take it back. Whatever the case may be, just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off, let it hurt. Because you can deal with it after you know how they feel. But right now, you're tense to stress, trying to prepare to tell them. And it might be way easier than you had it in your own mind for the divorce. I mean, divorce is hard, and like I said, you guys have been together for 25 years. So it must have been really crazy, and I'm just assuming for you guys to be together that long, that you guys tried to work it out outside of just you two. Like, you went to counseling and everything, and it just didn't work out. Because a lot of times people try to work it out within themselves, and no, that's not going to make a difference because you guys still have your own opinion. So you need that third party to sit there and say, no, do it this way. Think about it this way. Think about it this way. Because I think for me personally, I think divorce is just an easy way to get out of a situation you just don't want to deal with anymore. But we wouldn't do that with our kids. You know what I mean? And so those are things I look at. But if you're gonna get a divorce and you did all your avenues of doing it, the kids is probably already ready for you to get a divorce. They probably wonder why it took you guys so long to get a divorce.
And I was going to ask also, I mean, divorce is like the final. Is it something that maybe like separation can do? I mean, can you guys separate and then, and you can just say that, we're not divorcing, we're separating until we get on, and then, divorce is then, you can deal with that afterwards. But, I mean, this is your life, do you? But I'm just saying is that, and with the kids, they, like Lydia said, they probably like, do something because this ain't working, and whatever the case may be. But I always say this with divorce, and I know how that is. I know, hey, it is. But if you can, sometimes get away from somebody for a while, and then can just be stuck with yourself for a while, all of a sudden you can calm down and kind of start thinking about, okay, do I really want a divorce? Do I really love this person? Is this the final thing that I want to go to or something like that? But I'm not giving you any advice, do you? I'm just saying.
I'm giving advice.
Well, you're supposed to give advice. That's what.
I'm not.
I don't know neither one of them.
But
So
I
don't know what to
if
say.
you did counseling, if you went out and did some counseling, even if you went to somebody that's not even a licensed counselor, but they do consulting and that's her living, like Ayana. She's a consultant. She does her counseling. And she might be licensed, but she's not working under the license, let me put it that way. And she gives advice and she tries to help people out. Sometimes you need that outsider to help, because if you're stuck in your way and he's stuck in his way, you're never going to be able to work it out that way. So you need somebody who can be neutral and say, you know what, you guys need to work on this individually. Like, you need to work here individually, you need to work here individually, and then this is the homework assignment that you do together. And follow the rules regardless if you like what the rules are or not, just follow it. Because sometimes I see a lot of people getting a divorce and they're not doing the avenue of what they're supposed to. Sorry, one of our lights went out. They're not doing the avenue that they're supposed to do. So remember that as well. And there's no easy tactic to take off the Band-Aid for a child. It is what it is. Go ahead, Joanne.
I feel a lot of times we don't give our children basically enough credit in the sense of like they can already kind of deal with that a lot of times, and like kind of like Lydia said, a lot of times they already kind of know what's going on or know that there's some issues, and it's not that you guys are not bad parents, but you guys just may not be good together in relationships. You guys could be the greatest mother, greatest father, or whatever, but you guys may not be working out good together in actual relationships. So, and I think a lot of times we don't realize that kids are mature enough to see that. Sometimes they see it before we do, and because we're in it. And they don't know, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't know because we're just in it. And like Lydia said, a lot of times we sit there and stay in these relationships trying to think we're doing it for the family, and it just could cause more harm when actually everybody could just kind of, like I say, rip that Band-Aid off, start the healing process so everybody can kind of deal with that. But with the kids, especially the age that they're at, you got a teenager that's 16, that's the youngest one, and they're pretty mature at that age, so they're pretty much, and then the other one is all the way up to those adults. They're adults, so they can understand, and I'm pretty sure they have so many friends who have parents are divorced all the time. It's ridiculous. That's just the bad thing about it. It's actually become so common that, you know, I'm in amazement. When I was growing up, I was in amazement at that my parents were people who were together for a long time, and everybody else I knew their parents separated and divorced and stuff like that. So I wasn't used to people being separated or divorced, but all my other friends and stuff, you know, they were used to it. So I believe that it's something that it's not going to be that hard because it's a great age, you know, that they can understand. It's not like they're little kids going, oh, why mommy, daddy, you know what I mean? They're not like, what, stay together, what are you doing, don't leave, you know, that type of stuff. So you guys just have to sit down and figure out who the teenager, who's going to want to go with who and all that stuff, and deal with that legal stuff. That's all, you know. But yeah, I think it's not going to be that much of a problem. So I have another question. You guys have that's all for that person?
Yeah, that's
okay.
It.
Awesome. This one says, I am 35-year-old mother of 2 girls. The father of my oldest daughter has now said that he is ready to commit and wants to get married and settle down. When we were together years ago, we were young, and he wasn't ready to settle down or commit, and now he is ready. He even says that he will accept and treat my other daughter as if she is his own. He really hurt me years ago with lying and cheating, but I forgave him, and he did apologize to me for it, and we moved on in order to co-parent our daughter. Do you think it is possible for relationships to work second chances around after they have endured so much in the past? Do you even think it's worth giving it a second chance?
That's up to you, but you have to forgive them. And I know you said you forgive them, but that's what you're lingering on. You're still lingering on. I said, and you're asking the question because you have doubts. So and for you to have doubts, something must have raised a little evil head somewhere where you might say, well, this is kind of the same attitude that he had before, blah, 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 blah. But that's your question, and I'm not throwing it back at you like that. It's just that I don't know him, and I don't know what he's doing. I wouldn't say, yeah, girl, you forgive him, and blah, 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 and let him back in, because there's a second chance. Everybody needs a second chance. Everybody, I don't care everybody, and there's a second chance for everybody. Yeah. I've done wrong, and I needed a second chance. There's nobody on this face of this earth that don't need a second chance somewhere, somehow. So yeah, to that answer, yeah, everybody deserves a second chance. On your thing, if he apologized and you forgave him, then you guys are on neutral ground right now. So you guys are okay. But it seems like you still are thinking backwards, that he did this, that, and the other, and you're scared that he may do that again, and you're not sure that you want to invest that. Now that is something totally different. But to the answer that you gave, yeah, everybody deserves a second chance. But I think your question is a little bit deeper than that.
I'm looking at you.
I'm just saying. You
I'm looking at Lydia like what she was
no,
saying.
but you know what I mean, or no?
No, I get what you're saying.
Oh,
I mean, I
okay.
get like like everybody, everybody deserves a second chance. I get it, but I think like you said, at the end of the day, it's gonna have to be her, her decision because
Right.
it was her experience. We don't even know what happened or what he did. There was some like she said lying, cheating, things like that or whatever. But I honestly, this is something that I actually literally was having this discussion with my mother yesterday. This was kind of crazy. But, because we've been in amazement, like, we've seen relationships where people have been together for like a really long time. But the way they started off, I mean, it's even like they got married or whatever, but just started off with some, crazy stuff, some rocky stuff to where you would have been like, are you guys really going to stay together?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about how it's just amazing to us how people, if they stay together and married, you work it out, they change. They can change.
Yeah,
It's like, this is like a wholly different person. Like, this person was not cool in the beginning,
Right.
They were, chauvinistic and just this and that. I mean, just crazy. And this was even, so the person changing so much to where they didn't even believe they did half the stuff that they did.
Right.
I did that, like, and they're like, yeah, you did, like, you're like, what was going on with me, but, it's life. I think a lot of times especially even when you're married or when you get married or whatever, you have different experiences. You're like, I think like we were talking about, it was that person's, they could have had a very stressful job, they was coming home, taking that stuff out, there's just different things that were going on in their lives at the time. So I think, to me, if that person, if enough time has, gone by and you see a change, you actually honestly forgive him and you see that change and you go, okay, I really think that I can do this, then yeah. But I have seen it. I have actually seen it a few times. I've been rather amazed because I was never really a person, which was hard for me. But I've been around nothing but people married for a long time, but I really just be like, I be feeling people be fake and phony and this and that, and it's like, no, at the end of the day, they're not fake and phony. They just people who really actually are, they married and they go through a whole bunch of stuff and they go through it together and they get through it. Mm-hmm. They work through their stuff. They work through the stuff. It's not like we get married and we ain't gonna have no problems, we ain't gonna have no issues, you know what I mean? You're gonna have issues. So,
say when you get married, for better or worse.
Yeah.
Rich or poor, to death do his part.
Yeah.
We say the things, but they don't take it literally, and
right.
they're not taking it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy,
right.
And divorce is, to me,
it's easy way out.
It is. It's a cop out. Even when I got divorced my first time, I just thought it was a cop out, but there was nothing I could do because if two people together are not going to work it out, it can't work.
Yeah.
One person can't make a marriage work by itself. It takes two people to tango. Mm-hmm. You don't see people tango by themselves. So that's just how it is. But my thing is, too, when you say you forgive somebody, are you truly forgiving them? Right. And then my thing is, just because you forgive it doesn't mean you can't talk about it and express yourself. And sit down and communicate that and tell that person how they made you feel and what you're scared of and what you're leery of, and if you have those open communications and dialogue throughout the relationship, it really eliminates a lot of the doubt and stuff, because sometimes we just doubt because you done did this too many times and this, if I do it again, I'm just going to feel stupid. So that could be what our red flag is up about, but it could be that he still has to change. I mean, there's so many different things that it can be, but I think you can eliminate a lot of that by communication. And sometimes because the person who's doing wrong doesn't want to talk about it, so you never get to express your emotion or feeling because they don't want to talk about it because their excuse is you're harping on the past, you're focusing on the past, and so you're keeping it down so it never ever gets released. And then they're like, why can't we make it better? And you're like, I'm trying to, but for some reason I can't let it go. Yeah. And that's because you have not communicated your feeling. Yeah. And you keep suppressing it. And the more that person suppresses, the less they feel confident in you. So if your partner is sitting up here saying, I don't want to talk about what I did, I don't want to talk about what I did. Right. And pretty soon you're just going to be like, well, if you don't want to talk about what you did, that means you're not really completely healed, and you can do it again because you're not talking about it.
Yeah.
But even like when we discipline our
sorry
kids,
about it,
yeah,
really,
because even when we discipline our kids,
Mhm.
we tell our kids constantly, "You did this and such and such and such,
Mhm.
and I don't want you doing this again." And you remind them over and over. And a kid knows better than going, "I don't want to talk about it, Mom,"
Mhm.
because they'll be like, "What? You know." Wait a minute, then this whole another ship turn. But when a man or a woman does something wrong and we say we don't want to talk about it, we all of a sudden want to understand that. We went, okay, they don't want to talk about it. But they don't want to hurt you. You know? It's like, you need to be able to say, when you did, let's just say it's cheating, because that's what my husband did, he cheated. I like, when you hurt me, it hurt. Well, he didn't want to deal with that pain, so he tried to shut it. But I couldn't deal with it, so it kept coming up like, but you really did hurt me. And I've told you from day one, I don't like pain. I don't like any kind of pain, but you really did hurt me. I'm not trying to make you feel bad about what you did, but I have to heal from what you did. Just because you said sorry didn't mean it healed me. Now that's all I think about. It's other stuff. Did you have emotional attachment to this woman? Did you get this woman pregnant? Were you thinking about this? Were you thinking about leaving me for this one? These other things that come out, and I think that's why we ask stupid questions as women that we don't want to hear. It's because we don't know how to express it. You hurt me to the core, and I don't know how to fix it. I want to forgive you. I want to love you, and I want this to work, but I don't know how to fix this. So I feel like if I ask all these questions, it's going to heal me. I know it ain't, but it just makes, I'm trying to connect dots that ain't there.
Trying to understand what the person was thinking.
I understand what she's saying, and that's how women do feel. Okay, and everybody says I'm the man in the in the relationship. And I want to say this. Yeah, that's what the woman wants, and she's going to ask the questions, and she's going to ask the question, and then for 15,000 years, she's going to still be asking the same question because another question would arise, and then she's going to repeat those questions, and they want to know the reason why. And with her thing with the kids, when you ask the kids, you know, why did you do such and such? We have one of our kids that we love so much, and we say, why did you take something that's not yours? And his response is, because there's really no reason why people do what they do. Some people just do things that's stupid and dumb and make mistakes. That there's no really rhyme or reason, and we can sit there for hours on end.
I want you to
excuse me.
I know, but what I was trying to say is, I wasn't saying that the questions needed to be answered. I was saying that's what we do, and that does not help. I just wanted you to get that part.
Gotcha.
I'm saying it doesn't help, but the reason we ask those questions is because we don't know how to emotionally.
So
understand that.
So when the person says, "I don't want to talk about it," yeah, it's a harsh thing. But if you entertain those questions, you'll never get away from those questions, and sometimes it could be more damaging. Sometimes if you could say to the person, "It's like, I am so sorry that I hurt you, and that won't happen again. I don't have any answers to those questions that you're asking. I don't know. It was a stupid thing, and go about that. I don't really want to talk about it anymore because I feel bad about it myself," and let it go. Because if someone, everybody's been cheated on some kind of way. If you're gonna ask them all the time, you're gonna get mad. You never get to heal. If you let it die, if you bury it, it will eventually die, and you can move past it.
But it can't. It can't. Some people it can, some people it can't.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna say for me, it couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my thing is, the questions.
That's really
Shouldn't
what
have, no, don't ask the questions, because literally all it does is make it worse than what it was in the beginning. So that's not the question. What you really need to get, and the person that did the damage needs to understand, this as well as the other person, I'm hurting. You broke something in me, and just because you said sorry does not put the pieces back together. This is why I tell people, if you hurt somebody, if you cheated, you broke their heart, broke that person's trust, you have to put it back together and you have to mend it. No super glue is strong enough in the world to do it. It's going to be your behavior change and all this. I'm hurt. So all you can do is say, I'm sorry. They're really not. And you don't need to say sorry many times. I know people think you do. You don't. But what you need to do is go, I'm here. I'm going to check in more than I normally do. I'm going to do this more than I normally do. Because I need her to understand I am truly changed. She has to see a change in you. She has to know, or he has to know, that you're not going to go down the same rabbit hole that you went before. To be able to actually let that be a past tense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those are things that nobody wants to do. They want to say sorry, but they don't want to fix the problem. Like she was talking about the child. The child go, and I'm sorry, but you don't want to fix what you did to change the behavior that you don't want. Right. So you don't want us to think you're going to always take something, but at the same time, you're not going to change your behavior. Right. So then we're not going to ever have that relationship. As much as we want to, as much as we know we don't want to keep bringing it up, you have to, somewhere in there, decide to change your behavior. And the person has to come in and change your behavior. And as a person is coming in to change your behavior, the person that got hurt also needs to say, let me shut up. Because we talked about it. He knows that he hurt me, or she knows that they hurt me. And now I got to breathe, and I got to watch and learn. And when I'm ready to give this other part of me back, I will. But I'm right here. I'm married. So I'm still going to do what I do. Like I seen Lauren when she got her divorce, she didn't do it that much when she was married, but when she got divorced, she then was getting ready to get a divorce. She started making dinner. She did what her wifely stuff was, but her emotions was not attached to the wifely thing. So that person has to now earn the wifely things in, but you don't have to keep bringing up, but you did this to me, you cheated, because that's not helping. Once you have that communication from one to the other, you then now have to go, okay, I have to heal for myself because it did hurt. So I have to now work on me. And when I'm saying work on me, you got to do self-care for yourself. Now, and then that person has to show you the difference. Now, if that person decides not to show you the difference, pay attention, because that means they're not going to change. If they're not going to show you the difference, that means they're not going to change. If they're not going to take responsibilities for their action, that means you need to let them go. Now, if the person is now trying to mend it back, and the guy or the girl can only mend it back the best way they know how. Right. You don't know how they can mend it back, and they don't know how they can mend it back. Both of you guys don't know. So as long as you see them trying and making an effort, then you got to try and make an effort. Not make an effort where you help them mend you back. They got to do that on their own. Just like when they won you or won her over, they did all the work, and it's the same philosophy. Then you go in there, but you got to do self-care. You got to start loving yourself. Because when somebody cheats on you or breaks your heart or does anything, you start thinking, I'm not pretty enough or I'm not good enough. You got to start doing self-affirmation for yourself. And when you start focusing on yourself and being the wife that you're supposed to be, not what everybody else tells your wife to be, what you're supposed to be. And let him or her, or a husband he's supposed to be, let him or her do what they need to mend back what they broken, not what Joe broke down the street or Frida broke down the street, but what they broke. Understood? That is where it comes in, because we do a lot of this. I want to know: did you really love her? Did you really love him? Did you take her out to the movies? Because you never took me to the movies. No, that's not going to help you. It makes it worse. You dig in a bigger grave, and you're not going to mend your marriage back in that way. But what I'm saying is you do need to communicate it, and it needs to be a free, open conversation at least once. And then let it go, and then work on yourself. And like I said, Lauren did it when she was first married. Her first marriage, she went into, in her mind, what a wife was supposed to be for her. And then she started cooking dinner and doing this and this and this, but her husband didn't take the time to fix it. Then she decided, I gotta let it go because I can't take it no more. But she did what she was supposed to do at that moment. Whatever God and her had that conversation about, that's what she did to mend that. And then if he didn't take the time to mend what he broken, then it just told her, because now that she did self-care and started loving herself and appreciating herself and doing stuff for herself, it was easier, not easy, but easier to let him go, as she filed for divorce 15 million times. So I'm just saying, those are the avenues. And it's not a closure, because I know sometimes it just feel like we need a closure. It's not a closure, but just because the person cheated doesn't mean you didn't you stop loving them.
Mm.
So you do want to make sure to start doing self-care once the moment that shattered. And if that person doesn't even want to take the time to at least talk to you once about it, not asking questions about who they cheated on or why they did whatever, they broke their promise, or not all that, just what was going on in this moment that you felt the need to. What, because sometimes even though it doesn't make sense to us, it makes sense to them. I don't, and I hope that makes sense. It's like he could have said, "I didn't feel like you loved me anymore because this is a common one." Somebody said, "Because you stopped having sex with me, and she listened to me, and she didn't mind having sex." It doesn't make sense to a woman at all, but to other men, I can kind of see that. And they're not gonna admit it to their wives, but they're like, I can kind of see that because we're too different. So you gotta, once you hear it, you go, okay, but what's going to stop you the next time if I decide not to have sex? Are we going to go through this again? Those are good questions to ask. Not who the girl was and what made her different than her, and she was ugly, how did you pick her? None of that is irrelevant. But those are the questions, because maybe then there's something in there I just felt. Well, that's not why. I couldn't, because this was going on and this was going on. And I knew you wouldn't care, and when I was telling you I was going to the doctors, you weren't putting two to two together. Oh. Maybe we should talk more. And then stuff comes in because we don't think to talk about those type of things. So that's why I say the conversation does need to be had, but a proper conversation needs to be had.
Well, I agree with that.
Did you get it? You did really good.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh my goodness. Counseling certificate.
Yeah, she is just like that. Because, I was thinking at first that you were saying they need somebody not just keep asking me why.
No.
I'll be like, what? Because, like, if, when you do something wrong, and, even when you're a kid, and, you did something, and then they still, I'm 2000, remember when you got that so-and-so, I shut the front door. I don't want to hear it no more. I know I did wrong. Nobody wants to hear about themselves. Nobody wants to hear their wrongs. They don't. They know that they're wrong. That, once they apologize, they're going to try to do better. They don't want to hear about what I did last. They don't. I know I don't. So I just
because a lot of times people don't understand that especially when you do anything wrong, or if you actually hurt somebody, you didn't mean to, but you did. A lot of times you're beating yourself up more than anybody else.
Absolutely,
so you don't want to constantly be having somebody reminding you over and over again, because you're trying to get through it yourself, and it's like then you get to a point where you're like, okay, I've finally forgiven myself, God forgive me, and blah, 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 and then you keep coming up, and you keep coming up.
So was she pretty? Did she have this perfume? I don't want this perfume. I'm like, what the hell? I don't want to hear all that mess anymore.
Exactly.
That is true.
I get that,
That is true. All right, well, we hope we helped that person out today. We thank you so much for tuning in. You guys, please meet us here next time on the Talk It Out Show.